Hello everybody. Welcome to your weekly dose of Trainer Talk Tuesday. Now I know we have a little bit of a late start today. Typically we go live for you guys every Tuesday at 2:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but we went on a little getaway and we are just now getting back, but we still wanted to talk to you guys today, so better late than never, right?
Right. So, yep, something is always better than nothing. So, fresh out the car, just got the kids off.
Probably look a little crazy, guys.
So, we're going, but we're committed to you guys. So, let's go ahead and let's have this discussion. And today is going to be about meat and is it okay to eat or not. So, let's go ahead and get into a little bit of that.
All right, guys. So, if you have followed my personal journey to any capacity, you know that I am 100% plant-based, meaning that I am considered a vegan. I do not consume any animal products whatsoever, and I have not for a little over a year and a half now. So I think the common misconception would be that I think that no one should ever eat meat ever. And so we kind of wanted to talk about that today because although I don't, Nate does consume animal protein. Yes, he definitely does, and he loves it. So it's a staple part of his diet. And we, I guess with saying that, can say, yes, we do think it's okay for you to consume animal products. We do think it's okay for you to eat meat, but there are some limitations to that. And we want to kind of give you guys some insight, some advice that can help you make the best choices if you do want to consume an animal protein filled diet.
Right. So just like all things, there's going to be moderation involved in it. And that's a bit of what this is about, is just to be sure that you're getting the right kind of meats to go in the body. Obviously, in today's modern world, there are a lot of technological advances. So meat and a lot of different products or different food items are mass produced, so therefore they are filled with different type of preservatives and so on to kind of help get those things out.
Antibiotics.
Yep, to help get those things out to us faster. So trying to be cautious and wary of that and make the best decision possible is going to be the route to go versus just putting anything in. So just a little bit of moderation is what this is about.
Yep, guys, and I will say this, a lot of our advice is going to stem from our faith. We adhere to the scriptures, but I know that everybody is not of the same faith as we are. So what we are also telling you is also scientifically based. So we want to make that clear that the advice that we give you, although it's spiritually based, it is scientifically based as well for those of you who are not believers.
Right.
So to start off with this, guys, if you are going to consume animal products, scripturally, there are some limitations on what you can and cannot eat. This is very clear in scripture to us. Many believers will even say that, that's the old law and we don't have to adhere to the old law. But our bodies are the same as they were then, as they are today. So we want to go over that. What is considered clean versus unclean meat? So, clean meat, guys, is anything, if we're talking about mammals here, anything that has a split hoof, okay, and that chews the cud. That is scripturally based. So what does that mean? Chews the cud means where the animal swallows the food, regurgitates it, and then starts chewing it again for digestive processes. These animals are going to, but are not limited to, things like cattle, okay? So cows, sheep, lamb, elk, goats, right?
I love goat.
So these are things that have a split hoof and they chew the cud. So these are considered clean meats. As far as fish, seafood is concerned, clean fish are going to be freshwater or saltwater fish who have both scales and fins. And we'll kind of go over this more. I just want to throw this out here for you first. And then, what do we have last here?
I think that's
Birds.
Oh yeah, birds. I forgot.
Yeah, so birds basically are ones that are not vultures or scavengers of any kind. I said scavengers. Scavengers. So you want to avoid things like vultures, buzzards, anything that are preying on other animals. And that kind of is like the general theme here. If you want to eat quote unquote clean meats, then they're going to be herbivores, okay? And this is, again, scientifically proven that these animals that you consume are going to be healthier for you than the alternatives. They're going to be herbivores, meaning that these animals only eat plants, guys.
Right.
They eat grass. And they are not scavengers. So whether it is on land or in water, they are not bottom feeders. They do not eat the flesh of other animals or their feces, okay? So, when we talk about fish and you talk about things like crabs or, shellfish in general, lobster, these things were made to clean the ocean floors. Things like vultures were made to clean up decaying animals, okay? Things like the pig, they eat everything. They eat trash.
You already bring up sea creatures? Like lobsters, shrimps.
Yep. Those things are made to clean the ocean floor, to keep the ecosystem working well. So when you consume these types of foods, you are digesting whatever they eat. So if they are made for this earth to consume decaying matter, that means you're putting decaying matter in your body as well.
Right.
And I hope that makes sense for you guys. So for an example, pork. Although pigs have the split hoof, they do not chew the cud, meaning that they are considered unclean. And the reason for this is pigs don't sweat, they eat everything. They're like garbage disposals, right? They will eat anything. And I know a lot of you guys are not gonna want to hear this, but that means that you really shouldn't be eating pork. And scientifically proven, pork is high in cholesterol. It clogs your arteries, guys. This is why you should not eat it. There are reasons why there are restrictions on the type of animal protein that we should or should not consume.
Yeah, a lot of this stuff is not even, it's just, the proof is in the pudding, all right? It's already been around a while, so if you're a believer or not a believer, especially if you're living in our country here, we are based in America. I know you can be you can be logged in on this from, a different country somewhere, and you may be able to get these things without them being so manipulated and so on. So we understand that, but a vast majority of our clientele base who we are speaking to right now are going to be folks who are going to be stationed right here in America, and you are going to be put in front of a lot of these foods that have been, not only are they everything we're saying now, but they also have been kind of reconfigured as far as how they are distributed to you. So they are pumped with a lot of different properties, like things like preservatives to help them give a longer shelf life so that they can stay on the supermarket shelves a lot longer, giving you more time to get out there, giving them a longer time span of value where they can create some type of revenue back from that product being placed out there. And one of the things that I want to get into now, because I've been eager, like Larissa said, if you're following her journey, obviously you know the type of lifestyle and the diet plan that she follows. However, for myself, I've been doing something a little different since about May, and you can kind of say it's Presbyterian based, but not exactly, and that is based off of the fact that I do eat lamb and I still eat goat. However, what I've come to notice, and we like to eat a lot of different cultural foods. We love Indian food, we love Mexican food, we love Thai food, we love Mediterranean food. We like a lot of different type of cuisines, but one of the things that I have come to notice with the Indian food in particular, because that's what we have primarily the most when we are indulging outside of, just the American standard diet, is that when I eat a lot of the lamb meat and I eat a lot of goat meat, and we were fact checking this on the way here as we were driving back to Indy just a moment ago, is that when I go to buffets or I order off their menu, and I'm eating a high amount of this food to the point where if I ate chicken or if I ate steak, if I eat pork in this type of facet, I will feel severely ill by the time I'm done consuming the amount that I consume, especially over a certain period of time. I just get very lethargic, I get tired, I'm very fatigued, and so on. But when I eat this lamb meat, when I eat this goat meat from these other restaurants, I came to a conclusion, or I started to wonder, is like, why am I not having this severe level of bloating or tiredness or fatigue or anything of that nature that I just spoke about prior? And I started to think about it a little bit more, and I came to my own conclusion, is that I wonder, since because lamb and goat, and you guys can ask yourself this question now, unless you're eating at like a 5-star restaurant, maybe even 4-star in most cases, how many places can you go and you get some fresh lamb or some fresh goat meat? And the reason I ask that is because when it comes to things like pork, beef, chicken, these things are very, very commonly consumed here, and they're mass produced. So when we're talking about mass production, we're talking about that reconfiguration of that product, where they are giving it other properties to make it bigger, to make it grow faster, to make it more sustainable for a longer period of time, where you can go ahead and keep it and you don't have to cook it right away. Normally, we always talk about food, like, oh, you should be grocery shopping every 7 days, because that's the amount of time it should take for those groceries to expire, because they're fresh. They're not canned, they're not boxed, they're not bagged, and so on. So when it comes to the meat, that was a question I was asking myself, and then I came to that conclusion, is that there's not a lot of places in America who sells lamb and who sells goat. So maybe those meats and those restaurants, even though we're still in America here, they're not being mass produced in such a way that the others are, where they're not manipulated with a lot of these different things that affects you hormonally and chemically, and throws your balance off and makes you give that lethargic feel, that tired, that fatigue feel, and so on, that you do when you eat an overabundance of a lot of the American-based meats, beef, pork, and chicken, being the primary beneficiaries of that.
Yep, and according to scripture, guys, so from what he just listed, like chicken and beef are okay to eat, but as he mentioned, because of that mass production and the way that a lot of people prepare them, that's where the trouble comes in when you are consuming these types of food. So I know I got on my 100% plant-based journey because I was having hormonal issues. I removed a lot of foods from my diet to help heal, and I am still 100% a believer that if you are looking for healing, then you should be on a 100% plant-based diet. But we discussed this in our last video. You should refer back to it if you are confused about this. Practicing the elimination diet is very beneficial if you want healing. Now, if you do not need healing, these foods can be consumed, but the preparation and how you do it matters. So obviously grilling or baking, sauteing are going to be the top ways to prepare these foods. And I learned a fun fact today when we were researching some of this. When I first got into my journey of going plant-based, I was definitely like, all meat is bad. You can't ever eat meat because it causes cancer. It can cause this, it can cause that. And then when I looked at the other viewpoint of a lot of these different studies that have been done of why they say that certain meats cause cancer, one, it was predominantly processed meats. So you guys should not be consuming those no matter what. I feel like that goes without saying, but they are heavily consumed in America, so we're gonna touch that now. Hot dogs, salami, okay, things like that, beef jerky, those are processed meats. They're not even meat. It's not even real, guys. It's not real food at all. So you should not be consuming those to any amount or degree. But I learned driving up here when I was researching more about how animal protein affects the body as far as disease is concerned. A lot of it had to go with red meat in general, because we hear red meat causes cancer. And that can be super scary. I know cancer is a really scary word, but when you really started looking at these studies, it wasn't the meat, the animal protein, it was how long you cooked it. So these studies show that when you mix red meat with high temperatures, as far as eating your red meat well done or having it overcooked, that is what puts you at risk of developing certain diseases, not the actual animal protein itself. And that was something that I recently learned that I think I neglected looking further into, because I just saw that, hey, red meat causes cancer, and so that's just the end of the story. But I think that we need to do our due diligence and read further into these things to make sure that we're giving accurate information.
Correct. So just like everything else we're saying, I know a lot of this is probably going over the top of your head. Do your research, look into these things, and then go ahead and base it off how are you feeling. So go back to that elimination diet if you're going to follow the elimination diet and start a plant-based lifestyle for X amount of time, and then you're looking to get those things back in. But even before you do so, you already been eating a lot of these things now, so I think you guys can already understand what we mean when we say that feeling of lethargic, just overall fatigue or anything else of that nature. Go in to see, why are these meats making you feel that way? Look into that. Do some research on it, whether you're a believer or not, whatever the case may be. There's something going on that is causing our country to be one of the most unhealthiest countries. And somehow we have one of the most financially strong economic countries, but yet somehow our people are struggling with their overall physical health. So there got to be something to that, right? So look into that. Do some research on it. Just don't necessarily take our word for it. Use us as a guide to go ahead and open up that door for you. But truly look into it. Because when it comes back to myself again, with a lot of the things that I do, I don't know if I mentioned this already, but I kind of went more of a Presbyterian route, where I'm doing a lot more focus on Presbyterian. I'm doing a lot more focus on fish. Eating a lot of fresh fish, things that are not as high in fat, they are a lot leaner meats, and they're a lot easier digestible within my gut. So it's not leaving a lot of bad bacteria or anything else like that around. It is not causing a severe level of bloat within the body, causing me to gain weight and retain a lot of weight at the same time, which is something we all struggle with. And for a lot of the women out there who are really caught up in the numbers when you're trying to lose weight and you're losing inches, that can be very confusing and frustrating for you when one day you're 205, the next day you're 210, then you're up to 212, then you're back down to 203, and it kind of jumps up and down. And that's because a lot of the properties that are put into those meats are causing a lot of hormonal imbalances for you. And women in particular, since your body, your hormones are set up a bit different. As you know, you guys have children as far as you grow that fetus inside the body until it's of age, and then you guys get that thing out of there, which is one of the most beautiful things there is within human life. But however, there's a reason that you guys respond a little bit differently than foods than what men are responding to. So this is just things that we're coming to find through trial and error. We're doing some fact checks behind it, and we're being made aware of these things, and we're seeing the results in our own personal life, whether that's complete veganism or on my end where you're still eating a healthier selection of meat.
Yep, and guys, 100%. Now that you guys have a better understanding of what clean and unclean meats look like, then when you are consuming those quote unquote clean meats, you need to make sure that they are eating a natural diet, which means if you're going to consume beef, they need to be grass-fed beef, not grain-fed, because if a cow is out in nature, they are going to eat grass. They are not going to be force-fed grains, and that is going to affect your body as well. So anything that animal is eating will affect what you and your body responds to. So make sure that it is in its natural environment as much as possible, guys.
Yeah.
As much as possible.
Yeah, that brings me back. I got a buddy of mine.
It goes back to the fear thing. Are you about to talk about that?
No, not quite.
You got to bring that up next.
But it just brings me up to a point. A buddy of mine, a real close friend, we're kind of having a weight loss competition right now. I'm trying to be the first down to 195. I'm pretty much already there. I didn't want to let him know and kill his spirits. But I'm going to give him another option. If you see in this video field, we can change that to 185, 190. I still want to get a little lower than 195, and I'm giving you an opportunity here. But I remember he brought it up because we were in Florida. One of our favorite spots down there is this place called Fresh Kitchen, and they have grass-fed steak on the menu. And I posted
no hormones added.
Yeah, and I posted, and I put that in parentheses. Grass-fed, because people don't understand it. He said, well, what else do cows eat? And I laugh because it just goes to show that a lot of people just don't understand how a lot of this food is brought to you, it's prepared before it's even brought to your table. So how that food is being raised and so on, how that meat is developed is going to have a huge impact on how it digests in the body and how it interacts with you. One more quick fact too is that when it comes to chicken, I was made aware of a really good fact. So I like to, from time to time, go get me a nice chicken dinner meal on a weekend or so. We chilling out, we worked hard all week. I want to kind of indulge in something that I wouldn't eat off the time, so I go get a chicken wing meal. So I would normally go to a couple of different other places. There's this place up in Fishers called Barron's Fish and Chicken, and I had asked the owner one time what makes his chicken so much different than some of the other places like Jordan's or Sharks or JJ's. You guys, if you're in Indianapolis or pretty much anywhere in the Midwest in a big city, you probably are aware of some of these type places. But he told me that the chicken they use there is different than the chicken that they use in other places where, on the other sides of town, where the chicken is not put under a tremendous amount of stress before they kill it and everything. So that causes the flavor of the meat to be a lot different. And I can taste that difference. So when I ate that chicken, I was like, man, it tastes a lot fresher. It just has an overall better feel to it. And when you eat the other chicken, you can kind of taste that. And when he made that known to me that, well, when you prepare the animal, there's a lot of things that go into it. And you guys know that stress is a chemical, hormonal response in the body. So when you're ciphering through all those different emotions, those are chemical reactions in the body. So the same thing with the animal. When that animal is being abused or is put under a lot of stress, that affects that meat before it shows up to the table.
And that fear that that animal was feeling, or that abuse that they were going through prior, will again be a part of you because you're ingesting it. So you're ingesting not only that animal, you're ingesting the trauma that that animal went through, and that can cause these imbalances in the body as well. So by saying that, we will say, like, we are not, we love animals. We are not an advocate of abusing animals, although we think that it is okay for people to consume certain type of animals. We will never justify just like the brutal slaughtering and abuse of any animal. So I think that's important to know, and for you guys to look into and source where you're getting your food from. Yep. So I think that's about it, guys. I know we kind of threw a lot at you.
We can go on and on about it, but I think it'll just kind of be talking in circles, because like I said before, this is some research that you need to do on your own and look into to have a complete better understanding of. Like, of course, we're licensed trainers. We are in the health industry to a certain degree, but we're not technically dietitians or anything. We just have these common things that we are aware of, and that, like I said, through trial and error, we have been put to the task, and we have also recommended things to our clients, and they have seen a tremendous level of success by taking these routes.
We're pretty knowledgeable on nutrition, guys, but like Nate said, as always, don't take our word for it. Research it yourself and test it out on your own body and see how you feel. Really pay attention to things. Pay attention to not just how you feel, but like your digestive processes. Pay attention to any skin changes or changes in your sleep, changes in your mood. Okay, and do this over a period of time. I would say over the course of at least 3 to 6 months before you determine what your results are. But yeah, guys, I went 100% plant-based because I was having issues. And when I removed the inflammatory foods, I got better. I did then remove meat, but I think a lot of those issues with me personally were because of the hormones that were in the meat, not because of the meat itself. So guys, really, really study hard on what you're consuming and where you're sourcing it from. If you can get them from farmers directly, if you can hunt yourself, that's like the best thing if you're going to eat animal protein. If you can go out and hunt these clean meats yourself, then that is going to be the preferred method. If not, then you need to get a trusted source that's going to do that for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't mention that. I mentioned the lamb, the goat, the fish, but I have a client of mine who is a hunter, and sometimes he treats me and lets me have some of his wild caught turkey or the venison.
Yeah.
Feel very good when I eat those as well. So obviously the fresher, guys, the better. So if you can grow your own food, grow your own food. If you can catch your own food, catch your own food. I know it's kind of, busy sounding for the most part, but you will see there's a lot of benefit to it, just not as far as how you're eating, but if you're growing it and you're catching it, then that's a lot of physical activity as well that's helping you continue to keep the body in shape, and that's what we're all about.
Yep, guys, and
hunter-gatherers.
I'm encouraging you once again to refer back to our last video about the elimination diet, because I know some of you are on here and you're like, well, I had a negative reaction to one of these clean meats that you're talking about and my body doesn't handle it well. Do the elimination diet, guys. Please, please, please do the elimination diet. I have so many nutritional consulting clients that have said similar things, and when we really detox and heal the body, you're able to introduce these foods that the body was naturally supposed to process well again. But you have to sometimes completely have a reset on everything to get back to that point. So just because you're having issues with eating certain foods now, that should be okay for your body to consume, as far as the way that our digestive systems work and the way that our body breaks down that food. If you're having trouble with that now, please, guys, look at our last video or reach out to us. We have a nutritional counseling program. We also have a detox program that is made specifically for people like you who are having issues. If you're looking for healing, if you're looking to reverse disease, then these steps need to be taken prior to doing what we're saying now, as far as consuming animal protein, if you want to do that.
Right, and there you have it there. I don't think much more needs to be said. We kind of put it out there for you guys. Now you can take it and run with it and do what you please. And if you do go ahead and utilize some of this information, if you do some further research and you come to some conclusions on your own or so, come back to this video, hit the comment section and share some of that information with us, because not only will you engage with us, but there may be another person in the comment section that could be interested in that information, and that can help them as well. So we want to create that community, people helping people. So we're going to start it, and we want you guys to go ahead and finish it. So that is our Trainer Talk Tuesday for this Tuesday. You got anything else you want to add to it?
No, guys, if you are watching this on replay, as always, please hashtag replay. Let us know that you did join in at some point. And as always, never give up.
Never lose hope.
Never settle. We'll see you guys here same time. Well, not same time, we got later. So every Tuesday, guys, at 2:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can find us here for your weekly dose of Trainer Talk Tuesday. We will see you next week.
All right, have a great rest of your day.